Nama Bengaluru, a city with many monikers. The Garden City, the Silicon Valley of India, the pub capital of India. These are just some of the names this vibrant city is known by. But beneath all this, there is a secret. Bengaluru has a rich, ancient past. Founded in 1537 as a fort built by Kempegowda, Bengaluru is older than cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, and Mumbai. And the best part is, you and I can walk down these streets today. The echoes of the past are everywhere. Prepare for a journey back in time as we rediscover Bengaluru's forgotten history. In this episode, we continue our exploration of the Bengaluru Pete by walking down the Avenue Road. The road was formerly known as Doddapete or Big Market Town in Kannada and ran from the north to the south. Our journey begins in the north where the Yelehanka Gate once stood. While we're on the subject of history, let's begin right there. Across the street from us stands the Shanieshwara Temple. Beside it is a small memorial that many people pass without noticing. Well, that's the Yelehanka Gate behind me, and on the other side of the road is actually this Virakal, a monument to 4 souls that apparently fought for our independence right here. In August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi's call for the British to quit India triggered protests across the country, including here in Bengaluru. In the Pete and the surrounding areas, crowds gathered to protest colonial rule. As tensions rose, clashes broke out and the police opened fire, injuring and even killing several local activists.
Fire!
The names carved here honor those who lost their lives during those protests. This modest memorial serves as a quiet reminder of Bengaluru's role in India's freedom movement. Alright, we are now back at the northern edge of the Pete. This is the Anjaneya or Hanuman Temple that dates back to the 16th century. During the Vijayanagara period, it was common to place Anjaneya temples near major gateways to watch over and protect the Pete. This temple stood next to the Yelehanka Gate. The gate was named for the direction it faced. In this case, it faced Yelehanka. It was here in 1791 the British laid siege to Bengaluru during the Third Anglo-Mysore War. We will explore that in detail in the final episode of this season. This is the Mysore Bank Circle, named after the Bank of Mysore building, which today houses a branch of the State Bank of India. This building was constructed in 1923. The site was home to one of the city's early mental health facilities, then unfortunately called the Lunatic Asylum. The asylum later moved to Jayanagar and eventually became part of what we know today as NIMHANS, the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. The Bank of Mysore was formed in October 1913 and served the region until it merged with the State Bank of India in 2017. The northern part of the Avenue Road is known for its bookshops. Name any textbook you want to buy and you'll probably find it over here. The inner gate would have once stood here. It was here in 1791 the British breached the Pete. Colonel Morehouse would have fallen somewhere along this street. To the right is the Hospital Road, and to the left is the KM Nagana Road, which eventually becomes the Kumbarpete Road, a street we explored earlier while tracing the walls of the Bengaluru Pete. Next to this hotel is the Kilari Road. Just a few steps away from the busy Avenue Road lies this gem. The road name is inscribed onto the building, a rare sight today. The inscription and the board here confirm that this building is a hostel. Our next stop is one that has been well documented over the years. This is the Rice Memorial Church. This building dates back to 1917, but the church's history here begins much earlier. In 1834, Reverend William Campbell of the London Missionary Society established the first chapel on this site. It served both as a school and as a place to preach to the local population. Reverend Benjamin Holt Rice arrived in Bengaluru in 1837 and spent the next 50 years in the region. During his time here, he learned Kannada and went on to translate the Bible and compose hymns in the language. His son Benjamin Lewis Rice was also fluent in Kannada and went on to compile the Epigraphia Karnataka, documenting thousands of inscriptions that reveal centuries of Karnataka's past. In 1847, Reverend Benjamin Rice established an Anglo-Kannada school that initially functioned from the old chapel and later from a rented house opposite it. As the congregation grew, the chapel was rebuilt and expanded. In 1852, a larger chapel opened on the same site to accommodate the growing Christian community. In 1861, after the cacti patch was cleared and filled in, the school moved to this site on Kempegowda Road. Here, it became known as the London Mission High School. Back at the church, cracks were noticed in the building, and in 1912 the building was demolished. There were plans to build a new church, but were delayed when the municipality wanted to widen the road. After negotiations, an adjacent site was acquired and the church was built. On the 27th of January 1917, the new church, now named after Reverend Benjamin Rice, was opened for service. This is the church we see today. In 1932, the London Mission High School merged with the Wesleyan Mission School to form the United Mission School. Around that time, this building became the Central School, which later closed. Today, the building houses the Department of Public Instruction. Before we turn onto RT Street, let's pause at the Sri Basavanna Temple. A historic gem. The main deity here is Basavanna, the sacred bull. This British-era map labels this temple as a shoaltree. A shoaltree was a public rest house found across South India. Built by kings or wealthy patrons, it offered free or low-cost shelter, water, and sometimes food for travelers and traders passing through the town. Over time, shoaltrees became community spaces, hosting meetings, religious events, and modest weddings. Our next stop is the Ranganathaswamy Temple, that is on the Ranganathaswamy Temple Street or RT Street. As you enter the temple complex, one of the first things you notice are the granite pillars of the mandapa or pillared hall. These pillars are carved with figures of Yali. The original granite floors have been replaced with tiles. A section of the pillars here could once be rotated, but today they have been cemented in place. The temple is dedicated to Ranganatha, a form of Lord Vishnu depicted reclining on the serpent Ananta. Embedded into the wall to your left as you enter the mandapa is an inscription. The inscription records an agreement among traders and villagers to make offerings and support the rituals at the temple. Just beside the temple is Muttiyala Pete, the pearl market. Although there are no shops selling pearls exclusively, we do have some jewelry shops still here. As seen in paintings, sketches, and early photographs, the Avenue Road gets its name because it was once lined with coconut trees. Today, of course, these trees have been replaced by lampposts. As seen in the other streets of the Pete, the old structures are being replaced with modern glass and concrete buildings. Several original buildings still survive. Some sadly appear abandoned and on the brink of demolition. As we move further down the Avenue Road, we start to see jewelry and textile stores. We are approaching the intersection between the old Taluk Kacheri Road and the Avenue Road, the birthplace of Bengaluru. As we have seen this in earlier episodes, here's the story in brief. On an auspicious day in 1537, Kempegowda had 4 pairs of white oxen plough the ground in the 4 cardinal directions. Wherever the oxen rested, he built the city gates. The path they took became the city's main streets. Doddapete, what is today the Avenue Road, the road we are on, runs from north to south, while Chickpete, the road we explored in the previous episode, is the old Taluk Kacheri Road that runs from east to west. When I first visited this place, there were 2 small buildings here. During the filming of the previous episode, taller modern structures were under construction. On this visit, those buildings are now complete, now housing shops. This is the Beli Basavangudi street, named after the Beli Basavangudi Temple located here. The jewelry and textile stores are now behind us, and we begin to see general traders. Further down is the old Tharagupete Road. Tharagupete was once the grain market, and much like Akkipete, the grain merchants are gone. But the area remains busy with general traders. According to the British era maps, 2 mosques mark the end of this street, beyond which was open ground. The 2 mosques were the Manik Mastan Dargah and the Kumbarpete Ibrahim Shah Mosque and Dargah. The Manik Mastan Dargah honors Hazrat Manik Mastan, one of the 3 Sufi saints who, according to local tradition, worked without wages during the construction of Bengaluru's stone fort under Hyder Ali. His tomb remains a site of devotion today. The Kumbarpete Ibrahim Shah Mosque and Dargah is believed to date back to around 1761. Although the structure we see today is a modern reconstruction. Here, just outside the reconstructed Kumbarpete Mosque, is the tomb of Ibrahim Khan. Ibrahim Khan was a Kiladar or the commander of the Bengaluru fort. He is believed to have overseen the rebuilding of the Bengaluru's mud fort into stone and is associated with the establishment of cannon and gun foundries in the city. So during the time of the battle, this mosque would have marked the end of the city. And all this would have actually been open ground. Today, of course, it's heavily built up. But back in the day, the British would have actually placed their cannons here and fired south towards the Bengaluru fort. British era maps show that there was a square tank in the open space. This is Siddi Katte. The tank was built in memory of Siddi, a wealthy woman from Kempegowda's family. Today, the KR market stands on the spot. By 1875, the tank had disappeared and was replaced by a residential area and a public market. These photographs from 1901 mention a Siddi Katte school, one of 5 day schools in the Pete area, reportedly run by the Wesleyan mission. These images show the students and the Brahmin masters at the school. While its exact location is not marked on old maps, it was slightly close to today's KR market. In 1907, Mysore's Dewan P.N. Krishnamurthy found the market unhygienic and proposed relocating it near Kalasipalayam. But the plan was revised in favor of redeveloping the existing site. Construction of the new market began in 1918, designed by S.H. Lakshminarasappa and inspired by Kolkata's Sir Stuart Hogg Market. The new market was completed in 1921 and named after Maharaja Krishna Rajendra Wadiyar. This modern building was added in 1997, introducing modern amenities like lifts and cold storage. But the upper floors remain unused. Over time, the Avenue Road expanded beyond the two mosques. This is the Avenue Road, and that over there is the old Kasai Road. And you know what? I think that is the original building we see in the historic photograph. Running alongside the Avenue Road is the old Kasai Road. Kasai means butcher, and historically, this street was once the location of the city's butcher shops. Today, it's a bustling wholesale market. As this is not a major road like the Avenue Road or the old Taluk Kacheri Road, many original structures still exist. A notable relic is the stone mailbox from the colonial period. That's still in use. The road eventually joins the old Taluk Kacheri Road. Back on the Avenue Road, you may notice a gentle slope in the street. This was intentional. According to the Bangalore Gazetteer of 1875, the drainage of the Pete is collected into one main channel, which runs out from the southern side. Such planning was not just practical, it reflected the attention given to sanitation and public health in the old city. Behind me is the Dargah of Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah was a man in his 70s who was recently transferred to Bengaluru from Krishnagiri. The British described him as tall, fair, and with a beard that almost went down to his waist. But despite his advanced age, he is said to have fought the battle with the vigor of youth. He led from the front during the 1791 attack on Bengaluru and was killed in battle. Tipu reportedly wept at the loss of his trusted Kilari, but agreed that the site of his death was the most honorable place for burial. Bahadur Khan was buried with full military honors near the spot where he fell. This Dargah marked the end of the Avenue Road. Further south, at this junction, once stood the Southern Gate, the Anekal Gate. The Southern Gate has a tragic story attached to it. The story goes, when workers were working on Kempegowda's mud fort, its Southern Gate would collapse every night. Astrologers advised Kempegowda to conduct a human sacrifice, but he was reluctant to do so. One morning, as the workers went to work on the gate, they found that the Southern Gate had not collapsed. But next to the intact wall lay the body of Lakshmamma. Lakshmamma was Kempegowda's pregnant daughter-in-law. She had apparently said her prayers and killed herself to appease the gods. A statue of Lakshmamma is erected at the BBMP headquarters. Well, now the GBA headquarters. There is also a memorial dedicated to her at Koramangala. Despite the tragedy, the gate does not stand today. This concludes our tour of the Bengaluru Pete. In the next episode, we will move south, across the causeway to explore the Bengaluru Kotte, or as it is better known as the Bangalore Oval Fort.